What's up, y'all? We are back. This is a development project where we buy the dirt, we build the home, and then we sell the end product. This is quite a big foundation pour with a main house, a guest house, and a pool. There is 160 yards of concrete. That is 16 full concrete trucks. Let's get into the video. Bright and early, 6:30 in the morning, and not a mouse is stirring, but the concrete guys are setting up. As you can see, we got the pump truck extending its neck like a brontosaurus. Ready to shoot out concrete on demand. Now, you're seeing the pump truck set up. It has some various different stabilizers that it's gonna go out so that it's nice and stable in the pour, because that arm is a massive arm. So if you think about it, there has to be a counterweight while it's working. But why that's great is it gives us so much flexibility to just move that arm around the whole site. This is a mid-sized pump truck, and that arm can reach up as big as about 120, 125 feet. We are getting the concrete poured from the truck, from the mixer, into the actual pump rig. So if you look, there's a grate, and that is helping to keep any larger aggregate, those larger stones, from getting into the hopper and then getting pumped through the pump truck. So this is vital. It's also kind of blending the concrete as it comes in, and then they're pumping it out on demand. All the guys are getting set up. We like to get there early. Everything is just easier. Traffic's easier to deal with. It's always better because you want to give yourself as much time to finish your pours. They are starting with the perimeter edges of the foundation first. We're gonna go back to the furthest corner, and we have to fill up the deepest parts of the foundation, which are those deeper areas for the grade beams. So they're gonna actually fill up the beams first. Try to get everything in there nice and level, because this is tricky. You'll actually be surprised at how fast concrete can set up. You can't just start pouring in one area and let this spread. You have to kind of pour everywhere and keep working, get it level, and then once all the other areas are filled, you can work at that top 4 to 6 inch layer. If you let one area of the concrete set up too much, it will have what's called a cold joint. This is where the concrete below is hard and the concrete on top is wet. You want all of this concrete to be the same consistency. So you can pour these grade beams, but you have to keep a close eye on it. They're pouring the grade beams, using the vibrator after to get all those air bubbles and pockets out, and then they're filling up and they're going section by section by section and making sure that all that concrete is cohesive. Hold on, let's take a break. Let's give our sponsors Ends a second here. Now, I love these pouches, but I am going to let our resident Ends fiend, Dr. Buchanan, take it away.
Guys, follow me, let's talk about these things. All right, so first, let me tell you about the Focus Blend. This stuff is a great way to keep me sharp while I'm working behind my desk or as I head out to the field to hash out some details. I love this black cherry flavor, and I also love that there are no artificial sweeteners in this either. But if I ever need to kick it up a notch, I go for the Energy Blend. With 50 milligrams of caffeine, this can give me that little extra boost to get through the day. I like to use the Energy Blend when I'm feeling that 2:30 slump, or after work when I'm about to hit the gym and need a little extra pick-me-up to make sure I'm on my A game. So remember guys, head over to nzepouches.com and use code JGB at checkout for your 15% off so you can keep rocking like me.
Using a pump truck over the regular line pump has a bunch of different advantages. One of the small negatives is it is more expensive, but when you look at it in the time that you're doing this in, if you just continuously pumped concrete through this pump truck, then you're gonna pump about 13 full trucks per hour. That's about 13 yards of concrete. That is a lot of concrete. So just in efficiency and speed. Now, the other thing is flexibility. When you have a line pump, it comes in all these sections, and you have to go and connect all the hoses. You pour one section, and then as it gets closer, you retract all the hoses. You guys have seen it in a lot of our other videos. With the pump truck, you don't have to mess with any of that. You are just moving that arm anywhere and everywhere that you need it. You can also control the flow a lot easier because you're not holding it by hand. This thing is so much more stable. It's a lot more safe. You're not worried about kind of these big jolts and different things like that. You're not worried about tripping over the hose. You're not worried about slinging it around. Using the pump truck just makes everyone's life easier. When you have a big pour like this, it easily justifies the additional cost in the time that you're renting the truck for the day. Okay, you guys will see, we talk about this all the time. The wood on the perimeter of our foundation is called our forms. It helps form up the edge of the concrete, but you will see some interior areas that have wooden forms. These are blockouts. These are for areas where we are dropping our slab to about 4 inches less than the finished concrete slab elevation because we're doing a curbless shower pan. We want to build up all of our waterproofing, our mud set, and our tile so that it'll all be flush. It's a lot more of a high-end way to do showers. Another thing we use blockouts for is sometimes we have certain areas where we're going to block out around a drain so that we can leave the concrete out, and if we need to move that drain later to get it centered inside of a certain area, to make sure it's inside of a wall, different things of that nature, it gives us a lot of flexibility. Looking at the drone view here, you can really see the advantages of the pump truck at work. You can see it just reaching its arm and craning over the whole foundation. This is really a huge foundation. The footprint of this area is pretty damn big. So imagine just using that line pump and carrying it in and out and all of the different inefficiencies that you're having. And I'm really glad that we didn't have that here. We have a pretty cool U-shaped house, and you see the guys pouring over here. This is the master wing. We have a master, we have an office, a powder, and then we're gonna get into the main living, which is that horizontal portion. And then over here on the other fork is a full guest house, and in between it is our pool. Another thing that is pretty tricky with this build is we have a ton of structural steel. There's a lot of different open areas where we have open to the second floor, and they're expansive. So we have no load-bearing walls in between. That means we have to set a bunch of different steel base plates in the concrete, and we're wet setting those. We have a lot of second story, but it's not all second story. So we're just looking at these different areas called point loads, and where they're going from the roof at the second floor down to the mid floor, and then ultimately down to the slab. Imagine this, the concrete goes in, it's pretty damn wet. It's like a thick mud. You have to let it harden up and bond to a certain degree before you can start working it, but you cannot work it once it's too dry. So all of this is just so much more complex than it seems. You see how we've pumped? We kind of let it set up a little bit, and then the finishers start coming through. You see the guys with these long bars. We call that a screed, and basically it's just a long, flat, like 2x4, but in this case it's aluminum, and we're using that as a level. And the guys are getting in 2, 3, 4 at a time, and they're kind of screeding all that concrete. This is just kind of like a pre-level. They're just getting everything nice and level. They're kind of tamping it down, stepping backwards as they do it. They're working their way out because you don't want to have an area that you're trying to get flat and then you step in it, right? It is common sense, but think about it. These guys are not really looking where they're working. They have to work in tandem with 2 to 3 people at a time, and the whole time they're feeling and sensing the concrete at which part needs to be worked when. So a lot more than meets the eye. You know, looking back to now, it's kind of crazy to think about me just being able to be behind the camera or just go and periodically check up on a job site. Earlier in my career, I would be at the concrete pour. The second they started pouring to the very last instant when they were done, I was checking on every little thing. I remember each truck comes with a little sheet that says the mix design and the PSI and all that kind of stuff. And I'd collect each one, I'd keep them. You know, I was just like, it's such a big thing. Concrete is so important, but once you've seen it done right so many times and you understand how it works, and then more importantly, you're comfortable with who you are working with, you know that you don't need to be out there at all the times. Now, of course, we have superintendents, we have assistant superintendents, we have project managers that are helping me keep track of this stuff, but it's an amazing feeling having all this stuff go on around you while I don't have to be there for every single instant, because that's just impossible. How the heck could I grow a company if I needed to be everywhere at all times? I remember on my first project over $1 million, I had a guy, his name was Ramoncito. Awesome dude. I mean, he was enthusiastic. He wanted to do all the right things, but my God, the red flags, they just start popping up. He's just taking forever to do everything, you know, and nothing's going smooth, and you hear the excuses, and by God, you know, we made it through, but every step of the way, I was just so worried, you know, and then it's like, that just doesn't look right, you know, like, oh, no, it's fine, you know what I mean? And it's like, by the hair on my chinny chin, we kind of got out of that job, but it was way over budget. It took triple the amount of time, and doing all these things were like ass backwards. It's like, man, you're having all of your guys like hand dig and fill bags by hand? There's freaking bobcats and machines that can just do all this, and you just start to realize, like, if I rented a machine, it would have taken me 3 times less the time, and it actually would have been less than the cost that I paid these guys to do it, right? So there's all these different lessons that you learn, and I do think, I'm a firm believer that when you go through these lessons and you learn the hard way, you really, really understand it and why. Guys, I really want to highlight the finishers. This is always just such an amazing art that always just inspires me. Like, it is so cool, and it's so simple. You're literally just massaging mud. Like, we call concrete mud, right? But look at them. They're throwing down some water. These guys are like, it's like making the perfect pizza dough. They make it look so simple. They throw that flour out there, they work it with their hands. These guys, in this case, they're using the bull float, la mapa is what I like to call it, and they're just working this stuff. And these guys have done this since they were kids, when their dads were doing it. And you are watching masters at their craft. Like, really try to respect the artistry that goes into this stuff. And honestly, if you want to learn about concrete, if you want to learn about building, just try to see if, like, hey, can I just come and watch it go down? Just being on the site as a spectator, you will learn so much and you will appreciate so much of it. And honestly, go and watch our ASMR construction videos. This is raw concrete footage, and you will just see all the different tedious things that everyone's doing. Cleaning out the hoppers, the buckets. You have all of the waste bins for all the concrete washout. You have guys packing in and out tools. Like, all of the guys, count how many people are on site. There's 30 people out there. All the man hours that go into this, all the planning, all of this stuff doesn't happen by accident. And honestly, it is so cool to watch, and I really love watching these channels. We just put it on here in the office, and the background noise is awesome. So check it out. We'll link the channel down below for the raw construction ASMR. Let us know what you guys think about that. So something that's pretty interesting is in this particular foundation, we have some different elevations, like from our garage into the main house, as well as back into our guest house. So what that means is we have some forms on the interior of our foundation. All of those have supports that are coming back into where you're gonna pour the new concrete. So we have to pour that first area first, but then you see the guys breaking the forms so that they can pour behind it. This is another thing that's a little bit tricky. You gotta let those forms do their job to let all of that concrete set up before you break the forms, but you can't pour that area behind them with the forms up. So again, this is just a, like, ask a chef when the pie is ready. These guys just know, because this is their lives. This is what they do day in and day out. Now, the power trowel, another awesome piece of machinery. So when the guys are using the bull float, this is the same kind of principle. We are smoothing out the concrete, but also compacting it, aerating it, just working it to perfection. And this thing is giving a lot more horsepower. It's going over the whole surface, and what you see is this awesome finished product at the end that gives you an almost glassy-like surface. That's how you know you have perfectly worked the surface of the concrete. One thing I want to highlight is a very technical process of making sure that there is no concrete left in the pump hose from the pump truck. We take a one-of-a-kind piece of deep technology. It is a foam ball wrapped in a Ziploc bag, and they suck it up in the tube. It goes clunk back in the hopper, and they know that it came through. There's nothing obstructed. And literally, you are seeing the pump operator just tap on the various tubes. He hears a hollow sound. He knows nothing's in there. $500,000 piece of machinery, and this is how he makes sure that none of these lines are clogged. I just love that. It's probably been done since the pump truck was created, and they just kind of keep doing it this way, right? Very simple, but very, very high tech. Derek, our glorious videographer, is flying his drone 125 feet in the air to see this telescoping arm go back into its dormant position for its eternal slumber until the next pour. What I always love is when the pump truck's gone and then you just have the last truck come in there and just dump right from the back gate inside the forms, and that's exactly what we're doing here. And then it's the same little process over again. We got to screed it out, flatten it all out, smooth it out, power trowel it, and then we're good to go. And we are into the next day. Look at this beautiful sight. You can see this almost like glass. The finish on this foundation came out impeccably. We're all super happy. Everything looks really great and grand. And to make it even more special, we are ready to move on to structural steel, baby. And we got a big package on this project, so stay tuned. We're gonna be updating you all along the way. And then also subscribe to the ASMR channel. It's freaking awesome. And I know a lot of you say, John, will you just shut up? You're talking too much. We just wanna see concrete. Then that channel is for you. I will see y'all on the next one.